Csaba, you're here attending the ESA annual meeting, and I know that seed sector is also attending, I believe, always the OECD seed schemes meetings. Why is it so important to make that bridge between the two?
Yes. So the OECD certification system is a global certification system, and we certify varietal identity and varietal purity. And from the beginning, it is more than 50 years ago when we were established, the private sector regularly participates in our meeting, but not only participate, but work together with us to develop our standards. And this is particularly important for the seed schemes, because we develop standards to facilitate international trade. And we want that our standards are well accepted by the industry and all stakeholders. And this is why it's so important that we develop our standards with the private expert as well. So during when we develop a new OECD standard, the experts from the governments and experts from the private sector, they discuss the standards and we develop them together. For example, a recent example for this cooperation between the seed industry and OECD governments and participating countries is the hybrid barley standards, and that was proposed by the European Seed Association to help start producing hybrid barley seed and certify under OECD, but they needed to modify OECD standards to be able to do that. And our governments agreed to reduce for a certain time OECD standard just to start market moving. And now we are in an experiment phase, and we will review our standards in 2020, and we will check how the certification of barley, hybrid barley, developed in the time. So then we will adjust our OECD standards according to the outcomes. So for us, is very important.
Excellent. Yeah, you mentioned barley, and earlier we were discussing a bit a barley project. Can you explain a little bit more about the barley project?
That at the moment is. Our communication strategy is to make promotional materials and not talk about seed certification, because for the people it may not mean too much, but to try to tell a story to the people why the certified seed, high quality seeds and using varieties are important. For example, it was mentioned that barley is the basis of the production of beer or whiskey, so that could be a nice story to tell to people, to promote our activities in a wider audience.
Yeah, great. I look forward to the product, to the final product.
We will see. That's the very beginning of the. We are just discussing what could be done in this regard.
Okay, great. Lately there has been a lot of talk and a lot of discussions about the so-called biomolecular techniques. I know they're being used by various designated authorities in OECD, but the topic is also being discussed at UPOF and ESTA. Can you explain a little bit more what's going on in OECD?
Yes.
And the alignment of the three organizations?
So first I would start with OECD, our business. So OECD seed certification, varietal certification is based on field inspection and post-control, so to say the phenotype of the plants. And this is our principle since the beginning of the seed schemes. So a national designated authority cannot make any decision without field tests. However, there are situations where the field inspection can be supported by other techniques or methodologies, and we allow them for to the NDS to use such other technologies, including biochemical and molecular techniques, but they are only they have only supplementary role in the OECD certification. So a national designated authority cannot make any decision based only on biochemical or molecular techniques. However, we recognize the importance of those techniques, and this is the area which is rapidly growing. So we have a working group which are dealing with the biochemical and molecular techniques on the use and application of those techniques in seed certification, and maybe to suggest any amendments to the rules to the annual meeting at the end if it's necessary. However, our understanding is, and this is what we receive from governments, that and also the seed industry, that at the moment they would like to maintain the phenotype-based certification system, and the seed trade is based on phenotype. So I would not expect that biochemical molecular techniques will replace field inspection in the near future. Also, it's very important to work together with other international organizations, because we are part of an international regulatory framework which regulate the seed trade. So it's very important that the participating organizations in this framework work together and harmonize their approaches as much as possible. Probably it will be not a fully harmonized system, but we should make efforts to reach that. So we work closely with UPOV and ISTA as regards biochemical and molecular techniques, and actually UPOV took the first initiative in 2014. They organized a joint workshop with OECD and ISTA, just to understand what the other organizations think about that new technologies. Secondly, OECD organized another workshop in 2016, and we also invited UPOV, ISTA and EOSA just to talk about biochemical and molecular techniques in the OECD seed schemes, and we found this workshop very useful because our members received information from the other organizations, what they are thinking and where they are developing the technologies, and also we managed to agree, UPOV and OECD agreed on joint activities, which would be to develop a document on the principles of the different systems, UPOV, OECD and ISTA. The other would be a joint inventory of biochemical and molecular techniques, which could be applied in seed certification or registration of variety or other seed-related issues. And the third one would be to develop a document on terminology and definitions, so that would be a basis of harmonization between those terminologies in the longer term. So OECD and UPOV already agreed, and ISTA is hopefully will come on board very soon, so then we can start working together.
Excellent. It seems like absolutely the smart thing to do, to seek more alignment between such global organizations. Do you have other examples of such alignment?
Yes, as we work very closely and all these systems are interlinked, so we need to work together. And we took an initiative, UPOV, OECD, ISTA and the ISF, and we established a birdseed partnership, which is we promote the access to high quality seed to develop a sustainable or promote sustainable agriculture. And our primary aim is to provide a one-stop shop for developing countries, especially when they want to develop their seed certificate or seed system from scratch. So then those organizations where the expertise exists, we could go to the countries and have them like capacity building or any information. And also this cooperation or partnership is a good opportunity to exchange view between the organizations, so we know exactly where the other organizations are or where they are planning capacity building activities.
Sounds good. Sounds great. Congratulations with the World Seed
We
Partnership.
have a high hope for that partnership, and we are at the beginning. We established a new website, which is a hub.
Excellent.
So they can reach us, and now we are working on the implementation of the project.
Csaba, you've come here to the ESA annual meeting all the way in Riga. Why is it so important for you to come to such meetings?
Yes, as I mentioned in the beginning of our talking or conversation, the private sector will play a very important role when we develop standards, and the European region is also very important because most of the European countries are members of our scheme, and also the EU seed varietal certification system is based on the OECD, and we have an equivalency agreement, the European Union. So OECD play a crucial role on trade, international trade with European or EU member countries. So the European seed industry is important for us, and it's very important that we always take the opportunity to present our activities to the members of the European Seed Association. And also, just to mention, the European Seed Association is a permanent observer in our seed schemes, and we receive many useful information, and we have a very good relation with the European Seed Association.